Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mounties Midweek. I'm Drew Patrick. On today's show, we talk spring training with Sprint football head coach John Evans, field hockey's Caitlin Bode, and head athletic trainer Laurie Zaparzynski. Plus, we have the first play of the week battle of the spring sports. The Mountaineer softball team had a couple of twin bills this past week. They took on Bloomsburg last Thursday. Ari Young was great on the mound, and she did receive some help from her defense right here. Top six, Mansfield down, Annie Hester laying out in foul territory. This game went into extra innings, and Young was still dealing. The Huskies get him to chase in the 8th inning. Then, bottom of the 9th, Joelle Snyder is at the plate.
But, is it time? We'll find out. And a long fly ball over the head of the left fielder. O'Donnell turns third, comes in, there he is! And the Mountaineers won a late inning game on a key one-run double.
Bob Michaels on the call, and Mansfield gets the Game 1 victory. Ari Young went 9 innings, got 3 strikeouts, and only had a single earned run. Mansfield wins 3-2. In Game 2, the defense again, Joelle Snyder lays out for the out, and Mansfield, however, just couldn't find the bats in this one, and Bloomsburg stole Game 2 by a score of 3-0. After a rain reschedule, Mansfield traveled to Indiana, Pennsylvania on Tuesday, April 2nd. Game 1, a tight battle. Mansfield had a 4-run 4th inning and are able to hold off the Crimson Hawks. Late rally, and Mansfield took the game by a score of 5-4. Ari Young improved to 3-2 on the year. In Game 2, Mansfield gave themselves a little more cushion. The Mounties were up 6-1 after 3 innings, including 5 of those runs in the 3rd, and would eventually take the game by a score of 9-2. Freshman Alexis Eastling improved to 5-3 on the year. A PSAC Central sweep, and the Mountaineers claim a share of the lead in the PSAC Central Division. The baseball team played 6 since we last saw them. They traveled to East Stroudsburg on Saturday, March 30th. The Warriors silenced the Mansfield Bats in Game 1 and completed the shutout with a score of 7-0. Evan McAndrew was saddled with the loss. Game 2, Mansfield had the lead after 2 innings, but a 3-1 third for ESU, and they never looked back, winning 5-3. Joseph DePerno had his first loss on the year. Sunday rain forced the series back to East Stroudsburg on Monday. Mansfield was considered the home team for the match, and Tyler Guidos took the mound. The first batter was Brainy Rojas. Take a seat. The next batter was Anthony Torellis. He can only watch this one go by. Guidos pitched 7 innings and had 10 strikeouts in the game, but got no decision. Bottom of the 5th, Tony Brown into pinch hit, cranks this one through the infield, scores Dom Lopez from 3rd. The game was tied at 1 after 7. On to extra innings. In the top of the 8th, the Warriors get an RBI double, and the Mounties just could not match. East Stroudsburg wins the game 2-1. The second game on April Fool's Day, the Warriors were up 1-0 entering the bottom of the 5th. Cameron Nye pushes this one deep enough to drive in Lopez and stand himself up at second base for the RBI double. A few batters later, Cody Fitzgerald lays down the beauty of a bunt. Eric Sr. scores the go-ahead run from 3rd, and 2-1 was the score. Britton Shander was the next batter up. The infield single, Nye scores. Mansfield gets that cushion run, leads 3-1. 2-1 after 5, and the score would remain that. The Mounties win. Bryce Zaparzynski goes the distance for the win. Mansfield sat at 2-6 in the conference. The non-conference foe Lemoyne came into Chayute Field on a windy Wednesday. Both games got away from Mansfield, and the power showed up for the Dolphins. 5 jacks in game 1 and a 11-5 victory for the visitors, and a 17-8 Lemoyne victory in game 2, and 2 more long balls for good measure. Mansfield is on the road Friday in Lock Haven, then hosts the Bald Eagles at Chayute Field on Saturday. The track team participated in the Fred Hardy Invitational held in Richmond, Virginia this past weekend. Mansfield's usual suspects performed very well. Nick Auchenbaugh hit a PSAC mark and a new best in the 400-meter hurdles with a time of 54.96. Hunter Watkins again hit an NCAA qualifying mark in the javelin with a throw of 59.52 meters. Kenzie Jones continued the PSAC qualifying party with a time of 5 minutes, .87 in the 1,500-meter run. And Jones and Lindsey Payne finished 3rd and 4th in the 3,000-meter run, with Jones turning in a time of 11 minutes flat, followed by Lindsey Payne at 11:06. For complete results, head over to GoMounties.com. Head coach Brittany Hansrow and the Mansfield University field hockey program have announced its 18-game schedule for the 2019 season. The schedule includes 7 home games, which include a Military Appreciation Day, Homecoming, and Senior Days. For the full schedule, head to GoMounties.com. Speaking of schedule, let's preview what is coming up this week for Mansfield Athletics. Do not go anywhere. Sports Talk is on the other side of the break.
Small community, close-knit, it's beautiful. Now, as we join UPMC, it just opens a whole new world.
Together, UPMC and Susquehanna Health are bringing life-changing medicine to North Central Pennsylvania.
UPMC brings extraordinary innovation to virtually every aspect of the work we do.
Exchanging ideas, sharing research, it's a tremendous opportunity to learn in real time with world-class experts.
Changing lives every day. UPMC Susquehanna.
Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference.
Oh, what a play!
18 universities.
How competitive is this?
23 championships.
It's over. We have new PSAC champs.
7,100 student athletes. Make the PSAC yours.
My PSAC is passion.
My PSAC is pride.
PSAC is Pennsylvania.
Passion, pride, Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference.
From court to court and lane to lane, under the lights or under the sun, no one delivers Division II sports like NCAA.com. The center of D2 is inside the NCAA.com hub, with exclusive highlights of every sport and live broadcasts of every Division II championship found nowhere else. Make NCAA.com yours, the home of Division II college sports.
Welcome back here to Mounties Midweek. Let's talk about an integral part of how athletics work and go behind the scenes as we talk athletic training with Laurie Zaparzynski. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about this part of the year. You have spring practices starting up, and then, of course, the spring season going on. You said before we got on air that it's not the busiest time of the year, but how busy is this time of year for you?
It is a busy time, just because we are in the heart of the spring sports seasons, and the fall sports seasons have their non-traditional seasons going on, so they're very busy. But the worst part about the spring is the making adjustments every day due to the weather. So that's what makes it busy, is you're constantly running around and trying to figure out if we're playing or not playing. So the adjustment makes it busy.
Yeah, there's never a set schedule here in the spring. So your primary focus with that athletic training, what is the keys for you guys to help these athletes be successful?
There are several keys. One is performing our review of their pre-participation physical. That's a pretty intensive process. They get their physical with their primary care physician, but we review that along with a lot of other pre-participation paperwork. So that takes us a long time before they ever step on campus to review all that, and follow up if they have an incoming injury that we need to know about or something in their past, so that we can be on top of preventing any future injuries with them. Another thing that's important is identifying risks on the field, risks with our facilities, or risks that are inherent in a drill, in a sport, making sure that we're keeping them safe that way.
So how do you do that? How do you regulate those risks? And where is the point where you have to say to a coach or to an athlete, they need to take a step back? Or where is that point where you see an athlete and go, this might just be soreness you can push through? Where is that line?
Well, I think that all of our coaches have a good understanding of their sport specifically, but also a good respect for our professional, qualifications and ability to say this athlete is not safe doing that drill for whatever reason. Maybe it is their pre-existing injury that's prohibiting them from being able to really get through a certain specific drill. So it's a lot of communication. I mean, communication is the biggest thing, and it's what I preach about in 99% of our meetings with the department is, if we communicate, we can minimize a lot of things. I think our student athletes, for the most part, are very self-aware and have realistic expectations of themselves, and I think the coaches do too, so that's an important facet. Sometimes when there's not realistic expectations, that's when we set ourselves up for some injuries.
So you touched on it, but how important is that relationship between you guys and the coaches, and why is it so crucial to making sure an athlete stays healthy?
Well, it's crucial that we have good relationships and communicate with the coaches, because when an athlete makes a commitment to come to Mansfield, they're coming based on how the coach has sold them on Mansfield, that it's the right fit for them. And we're part of that package that they sold. So one, I feel responsible to the student, but also to the parents of that student. Like, I'm here and I made a commitment. I'm going to make sure your son or daughter is well taken care of while they're here. So the coach is part of that. Like, I need to make sure that, the coach is aware of whatever the athlete should or shouldn't be doing, so that we don't put them in a risky situation. And the students, they come to rely on you to be that person that communicates for them.
Is that an easy relationship to build with the student athlete, that working relationship to make sure that they trust what you're doing, even if they feel like, they can keep pushing, but to trust the advice that you guys give them? Is that an easy relationship to build?
It is. I mean, some students trust quickly, and some take a long time. It really depends on if they've had experience with an athletic trainer in their high school athletic career, and if they're familiar with what our role is and what our goals are. If they haven't, then a lot of times they're fearful that if they come to us with an injury, our first response will be to hold them out and say, no, you can't practice at all. So we get kids that are hesitant to even speak up and say they're injured because of that reason. Some kids that have experience with a high school athletic trainer know that that's not our goal, that's not our purpose. We want everyone to be able to participate fully as much as they're capable and safe to do. So it really depends on the kid. I have students that are very trusting right away, and then some that it might take me till halfway through their sophomore year before they're very trusting.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that a harder thing than with freshmen, with people who are coming into, hey, college athletics is a whole different ball game. Is that a hard transition? You said some students who know an athletic trainer, but then this at the next level, is that an easy transition for them?
Honestly, I think different sports. I think kids that play sports that have like a strong club program that they've been involved with may be used to that higher competition level. Some sports just, that's not part of their program. Like football doesn't have club programming. So, and that could be a big step for a high school senior to a college freshman football player. That could be a big adjustment. A lot of other sports have that club component, so they're used to that higher level play. But even so, coming into college and now having a strength and conditioning coach that you're working with 3 to 4 times a week, and practices every day except one a week, and competitions, and an off season that really isn't an off season, and a non-traditional season. So that commitment to year-round athletic participation is a big adjustment for high school students.
So one of the important relationships you have, you mentioned, was strength and conditioning, and you guys with Ernie Ruck, who we had on the show last week. How important is that relationship between the training and you guys?
That is a very important relationship. That's one of the reasons why I was a little late getting here. One of the teams had a lift, and there are some injuries on that team, so I was modifying their lift based on what their injuries were, saying, you can do this, but you can't do that. So that's extremely important for he and all 3 athletic trainers to communicate about what students are safe doing in their workouts with him that isn't going to further injure them or keep them off the field from their actual sport responsibilities.
And also, you're not the only one in that room. You also have help in Michelle and Brian. What have they added to your job?
I can't say enough about the 2 of them. Brian and I have worked together for more than 20 years, and it's just the greatest working relationship. I mean, it really, athletic training is a profession that could have a really high burnout rate, and I think that's increased if you have bad coworkers and decreased if you have good coworkers. So the fact that he and I have worked together so long is a testament to what a good relationship we have, and that we're still both in the job. And Michelle is the new addition just within the last 4 years, and it's like we created her to be our 3rd athletic trainer. She's just the perfect fit for us, and the perfect fit for our student athletes. Like, she's such a positive person in the athletic training room and has done so much to just increase the level of care that we can provide to the students.
And you're also at a unique position here, because not only are you an employee here, but you're also a mother of an athlete here on campus. How has that, or has that altered any sort of way, or maybe you have to take a step back when it comes to Bryce and the baseball team, or how has that experience been like?
I mean, honestly, it's been wonderful to have him here so that I could see, his college athletics career. And it is difficult sometimes. I do have to take a step back from him personally and his injuries, because I feel like he responds better when somebody else evaluates him and treats him than necessarily he would if I did it, because I'm just his mom. But I've always enjoyed working with the baseball team. It's one of the teams that when I first came here in 1989, baseball had a really strong program and went to the World Series a couple years in a row, and I was fortunate enough to go with them. So, I've always had a special place for them, and I enjoy working with them. So having him on the team is just added.
Added flavor. Well, thank you so much for stopping by.
Well, thank you.
And Mounties Midweek rolls along after this. Do not go anywhere.
As I've gone through school, I've been trying to pay off my tuition as I go, and it wouldn't have been possible without the help of the Mansfield Foundation.
I mean, the Mansfield Foundation already helped me a lot. As of right now, I don't have any school debt whatsoever, and I know the Mansfield Foundation has definitely helped with all the scholarships that I've received over the years for that.
The Mansfield Foundation has helped me out several times throughout my college career. They have helped keep my finances intact.
If you have any sort of instincts, you can get a feel of good people and bad people. Like the people at the foundation are as straightforward as they come.
It's all part of Mother Nature's perfect blend, the keystone of the Keystone State. Visit Potter Tioga, a 2-county scenic outdoor haven conveniently located, yet worlds apart.
With 10 state parks, 2 federal parks, and over 400,000 acres of state forest land, outdoor recreation certainly does live here, offering hiking, biking, horseback riding, ATV trails, hunting, snowmobiling, cross-country skiing, and so much more.
Close to many urban areas, but far away from the hustle and bustle, you'll feel like you've found a hidden corner of the East Coast where you can experience world-class, authentic outdoor adventure. Whether it's a family outing, a personal challenge, or even a leisurely walk, it all takes on a new perspective in these spectacular surroundings.
Follow our gurus through the Step Outdoor series at visitpottertioga.com and start planning your adventures today.
Welcome back into Mounties Midweek. Let's switch gears and talk with an athlete who not only is a fantastic athlete here, but officially one smart cookie. Field hockey's Caitlyn Bode. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about that. The award that you received this past week, the NFHCA Scholar of Distinction honor. What does that mean to you?
It feels really nice. I take a lot of pride in my schoolwork, so it's just something that's super important to me.
So to be part of 86 student athletes in field hockey, what have been the challenges balancing? Because a lot of people talk about the balance between academics and athletics, but how have you succeeded at that?
Like you said, it's a balance. So making sure that I make time for field hockey and make time for schoolwork, and then also make time to do things that I enjoy too.
So not only you individually, but a couple other members of the team on the NFHCA academic group. How does it feel that not only you, but your team is doing so well academically?
It's super exciting because it's an opportunity for us as student athletes to represent Mansfield and our field hockey team.
So now, part of the season where you start to get back into full swing of the things, spring season, what has been some of the things early on in these spring practices that you have focused on individually?
Definitely my aerial throws, and then also decision making. We're just trying to make things more fluid and working together as a unit also.
And so, of course, last year, a little bit of frustration. Had that goal to get in the playoffs and fell just a bit short. So this year, what is going to be the key? Obviously, we are very early on in preparation, but what is going to be the key that you guys are going to have to focus on to get over that hump and get in the playoffs?
Well, obviously last year we had some growing pains. As you said, we missed playoffs by just a little bit, but I think that as we continue to grow as a program and we make these strides in the off season, it just puts us that much closer.
Is this part of the season more strenuous than, I guess, the regular season, especially academics? I mean, yes, you get back into the swing of things here, but you don't have games. But it's also like the second semester where you get heavy into work. Where is that balance? Which semester really tends to be heavier for you guys?
We try to overload our spring semesters, especially with our coursework, and then working out multiple days a week, like heavy duty workouts, and then also having practices, and then weekends are pretty booked too with clinics and different types of tournaments and stuff. So I definitely say spring is so much harder.
Yeah, definitely time management, a huge thing, especially here in the spring. So let's go back a little bit to that and a little bit to the time management. We talked about the balance, but so what are your keys and I guess advice for anyone who really wants to be able to manage their time, anyone who's maybe thinking about being a college athlete? What is your advice to them to try and balance out the academic and the athletic side?
I think for sure is the fact that like after every lecture, like you should really go back and review the notes, and even if it's like after a week of lectures, it's better than waiting for like after 3 or 4 weeks of lectures, because at that point it's really too late. And so then that week before the test, you're really just reviewing the material instead of trying to like learn it. So.
Well, Caitlin, congratulations once again on getting this esteemed honor, and thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you so much for having me.
And Mounties Midweek, it continues. After this, do not go anywhere.
Part of Mother Nature's perfect blend, the keystone of the Keystone State. Visit Potter Tioga, a 2-county scenic outdoor haven, conveniently located, yet worlds apart.
With 10 state parks, 2 federal parks, and over 400,000 acres of state forest land, outdoor recreation certainly does live here, offering hiking, biking, horseback riding, ATV trails, hunting, snowmobiling, cross-country skiing, and so much more.
Close to many urban areas, but far away from the hustle and bustle, you'll feel like you've found a hidden corner of the East Coast where you can experience world-class, authentic outdoor adventure. Whether it's a family outing, a personal challenge, or even a leisurely walk, it all takes on a new perspective in these spectacular surroundings.
Follow our gurus through the Step Outdoor series at visitpottertioga.com and start planning your adventures today.
From court to court and lane to lane under the lights or under the sun, no one delivers Division II sports like NCAA.com. The center of D2 is inside the NCAA.com hub with exclusive highlights of every sport and live broadcasts of every Division II championship found nowhere else. Make NCAA.com yours, the home of Division II college sports.
Welcome back here to Mounties Midweek. Let's switch gears, and spring practices have started for the fall sports. And to talk about sprint football, we have head coach John Evans. Coach, thanks for coming back.
Great to be here.
So let's talk about that. In fact, spring practices have started for you guys, and early on in the spring practice, what are your focuses with this group?
Mainly conditioning. What we said after our second, we've had 2 already. We finished Sunday night, and in my opinion, in my 6 years here, we had the 2 best first 2 practices we've ever had. So it's mainly conditioning. We've got the largest group we've ever had. There's 44 student athletes out there, which is a huge number compared to the 17 or 18 in past years. So it's mainly putting in a new system and getting them in shape.
Yeah, that retention, I guess, issue as it has been in the year, how much does that help you guys in terms of being able to maybe even go as far as scheme some things?
Well, it's huge because we've got our entire defense out there right now that ended the year with us, and offensively we're changing everything, but the key players are there and they're learning the new system right along with the new coaches, so it's beneficial.
So how much of a system, well, you said the system changed, but how much of a system focus are these spring practices?
Well, defensively, it's mainly just reviewing everything that we did last year because it was new last year. Offensively, it's brand new, from right from the way we huddle to the way our cadence to all of the plays. So it's mainly getting our returning guys used to the cadence, the huddle, and then some of the basic plays. One of the things with the plays, and Gus Malzone from Auburn talked at a conference, and he said, don't move on to play 2 until you can do play 1 in your sleep. So we spent 2 days on one play last week.
So, Coach, this spring practice is also a bit of a new look for this team in terms of the helmet's a different color, a red helmet. What was why the switch up? Why going with the red helmet this year for Mansfield?
Well, we have a leadership group. We call it the Unity Council. It's representatives from each class, and they asked about it. We meet every couple of weeks. They asked about switching gears a little bit, color change, and I know for over 100 years we've been black helmets. What I said to the group was that I need to poll the alumni. I'm not just going to make a change and show up with red helmets. I did poll the alumni, and we are 99.9% in favor of the change. So.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when entering the next step or trying to improve this program, the steps you've taken. Do you feel like the new look is important to try and take that next step?
I do. Not only is it the new look, but it's a new division. We've moved to the North Division because of the new team that came in from West Virginia. So we're in a new division. I feel the schedule plays into our hands this year. We open up with 4 very winnable games, coming off a 4-game winning streak last year. So there's a lot of optimism and excitement right now in camp.
I guess the one question mark that would be is right now the offensive line, because a lot of those kids graduated. It's a whole new group, and our offensive line coach from last year, he got another job, Richard Conrad. So what is the focus for the offensive line to try and find those guys to fill those spots?
Well, we were fortunate that the 5-6 guys we got out there now know the system, know the offensive line. It was a huge effort recruiting-wise. We actually have 5, maybe 6 offensive linemen coming in this incoming freshman class, and they're all pretty good-sized kids, 6 foot, 180, that I think will really help us a lot. A couple of them right off the bat.
So let's pivot into the recruiting side of things, because of course this is also a pretty busy time too for recruiting, and of course in the winter was a big time for you for recruiting. So what is your strategy in terms of recruiting to get students and to get athletes to come to Mansfield University?
Well, I have a twofold plan. I mean, it's like sales. You know, somebody was saying that they're doing a project for a class and they wanted to interview me because they said recruiting is kind of like sales. And my answer was recruiting is sales. And our product is Mansfield University. And I truly believe we have a great product to sell here. And our recruiting effort was based on our needs. Our needs obviously was the offensive line, which we went out and we got a lot of offensive linemen coming on campus to visit, and I do believe we've got 5 or 6 coming in. Quarterback was a question mark with Adam Hutchinson graduating. We do have already signed, sealed, and delivered 6 quarterbacks going to be in camp, which is a first. And they're dual athletes. They can play elsewhere, but they are primary quarterbacks. So our needs got met. Running back, we were thin last year. We were pretty good, but we were thin. And we brought in my opinion, 2 of the best backs in Pennsylvania that are very good with speed, which is something we've never had really, that 4.3, 4.4 speed. And we've got it with 2 guys this year.
About recruiting the offensive line, I'm always curious. I'm always curious when you're recruiting offensive line because it's not a traditional offensive line that you're looking to recruit. This is sprint football. You have to be under the weight class that you would put someone at offensive line. So how do you go about finding the people you think would fit a sprint football offensive line?
We pull rosters, and the main thing we focus on are guys that are 185 pounds and below, and call the coach, and then we'll go out and either visit them or have them visit us here. We got a legitimate center coming in from Johnstown High School that played center all 4 years. He's 180 pounds. We've got 2 tackles coming in from downstate New York that are, one's a first team All-State, the other one is also very good. They're both 6 foot, 180 pounds. So a lot of it is just being smart. I mean, we're not going to go out and find a 6'6", 330 pound person coming in because
tell them to cut that much.
That's not sprint football. But I do feel we're fortunate in the way that we seek out players. You know, we kind of have a weight limit in mind that we look for. And we get a lot of questionnaires from guys, and you know, I'm 210, but I probably can get down, and we discourage that. We want to get the guy that's going to be comfortable for 4 years, not somebody that's having to struggle with their weight for 4 years, and plus get a tremendous education on top of that.
So, Coach, early on, I know it's very early into spring practices, but has there been anyone who's really stood out to you as, I think they can have a big year?
Well, right now we've moved Quinn Henry to the quarterback position, which is no strange position for him because he played it 4 years, but he turned in to be a pretty good slot receiver for us last year. He's been a pleasant surprise in directing this brand new offense. Like I said, we've had 2 very good practices. Derek McLean is catching everything that gets thrown to him. Seville and Amir Pope are very good receivers. The offensive line that's there right now is doing an adequate job. They still need a little bit of work, but we're doing okay. Our defense is the pleasant surprise. The defense is good. We return the entire defense. Most of them are still freshmen, going to be sophomores. So it's Andrew Schwenk kind of and Duan Bowie anchor that defense that is going to be one of the tops in the league this year, in my opinion.
All right, Coach, I'm excited for the season, and thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks, Drew. Appreciate it.
And Mounties Midweek rolls on after this. Do not go anywhere.
Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference.
Oh, what a play!
18 universities.
How competitive is this?
23 championships.
It's over. We have new PSAC champs.
7,100 student athletes. Make the PSAC yours.
My PSAC is passion.
My PSAC is pride.
PSAC is Pennsylvania.
Passion, pride, Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference.
Part of Mother Nature's perfect blend, the keystone of the Keystone State. Visit Potter Tioga, a 2-county scenic outdoor haven conveniently located, yet worlds apart. A place where you can kick back, unwind, and forget about the pressures of life. Disconnect and reconnect with your friends, family, or even yourself while surrounded by nature's beauty. So start planning your adventures today at visitpottertioga.com.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
Welcome back. Play of the winner was whittled down to 2 plays by you, but only one of them could reign supreme. Was it Taylor Sweeney's game-changing 3 against Bloomsburg, or was it the record-setting block from Mia Leonard? Based on your votes, this was the play of the winter. Alvin to Sweeney. He will shoot the 3. Taylor Sweeney hits the big bucket. Congratulations to Taylor Sweeney. Your shot is the play of the winter. And congratulations to all winter student athletes for great seasons. We now switch gears to spring and have 2 plays to start play of the week back up. Our first is from March 28th. Extra innings, Mansfield softball. Joel Snyder is at the plate.
But, is it time? We'll find out. And a long fly ball over the head of the left fielder. O'Donnell turns third, comes in, there he is! And the Mountaineers won a late inning game on a key 1-run double.
That play is against a baseball play from April 3rd, and freshman Cody Fitzgerald does this.
That's Nevins with a long stroke. And Dakota.
You can vote for which play is play of the week on Twitter at Mountie All Access, and results will be revealed next week. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week.